Thank you all. Now the official beginning. Welcome to everyone tonight. I'm glad you all were able to make it. We are the H.E.R.O, Handbell Ensemble of Royal Oak. This is our 34th year of ringing. This evening's concert is presented as a free will donation with funds going to maintain our handbells. While handbells do not need tuning, the mechanical parts do wear out and need replacing and refurbishment. Thank you to each of you for your donation. This evening's performance began with Silver Bells, which was featured in the motion picture Lemon Drop Kid, okay? A little tidbit about the title. The original title of this song was the questionable Tinkle Bells, with a T. Ray Evans said, "We never thought that tinkle had a double meaning until Joe, his co-writer, went home and told his wife, and she said, 'Are you out of your mind? Do you know what the word tinkle is?'" Anyway, we find out lots of fun information about songs. But moving on from that, there is no better song depicting the preparation for the upcoming holiday than "O Come, O Come, Emmanuel." we used a variety of what we call stopped sound techniques in that piece. You witnessed plucking in the lower bells. Graham, would you show? Give a demonstration. So he's lifting up the clapper and throwing it down onto the casting while the bell is on the table. Because if the bell was not on the table, what would that sound like? We'd have a sustained sound. It wouldn't be a stopped technique. But as the bells get smaller, our hands stay the same size, so we have to change our techniques. So we have some different techniques. We use martellados in the middle bells. So she is just taking the bell casting and playing it right into the foam. And then up in the treble bells, we play a technique called thumb damping. So he has his thumb on the casting. Take your thumb off the casting, Brian. So that's the difference. So it gives you a staccato marking. If you're a musician, it would be a staccato marking in the music. And then we determine which bells and what sizes as to which technique we're using. So we also use another technique called shaking, which will sustain the sound and crescendo. Our instrument is a percussion instrument because the casting is struck by a clapper. Or in this case, we're going to be using some mallets, usually seen by percussionists or drummers. We will also feature our 3 octaves of hand chimes, and the piece is Little Drummer Boy. Been to Frankenmuth? I guess that sounds like a generous giggle or a laugh means, oh yes, of course we've been there. And I'm not talking about the chicken or the Christmas store. I'm talking about the clock tower. You see the clock tower there. Okay, well, we're going to be playing a song that's based on some clock tower music, but we don't have dancing figures for you, but we certainly have bells. Ring little bells. The handbells I talked to you earlier about that were purchased in 1988 by the city of Royal Oak. We have over 50 handbells and 37 hand chimes. We do concerts and performances at all types of venues as entertainment from groups such as this group, church functions, meetings, teas, dinners, and weddings. We've played at the zoo. They let us out. Community centers, and in the Oakland County Parks and Recreation trailer with gloves on because it was cold, not because we were playing bells. We do concerts in the spring and during the holidays. If you or anyone you know of might be interested in hosting us, we have business cards. We love to hand them out. Okay, we had seen some mallets before. We're going to be seeing some mallets again. And we're going to use the mallets to give the effect of camels walking along as they carry the wise men to Bethlehem. Hang on and ride along with us. We three kings. They don't bring their bells up, they bring their mallets up. was by one of our favorite composers, Cynthia Dobrinsky. She passed away a year ago, but she is one of the most prolific writers of handbell music. She has just, her catalog is just extensive, and it's not someone the general public would know, but all of those of us who are, there's way too many words, who are handbell ringers have played her music, and if not, everybody has. I think we've got 4 pieces tonight, and I picked them because of the music, not because of the composer. So she's that well known and respected with her music. Anyway, we're going to play 3 lesser known Christmas carols, and I'm going to call it, this is not the correct word. I don't know if my musician friends will tell me the correct word, but I'm going to call it a triptych. Because I just sold 3 pictures that go together, and I thought this is 3 songs that go together. That'd be the same thing. The 3 pieces are Still, 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 Once in Royal David City, and In the Bleak Midwinter. And they've been woven together in a piece titled Christmas Night. music that gets stuck in your head and they go around like the song that never ends. We have one of those pieces, and every time I pick it out for us to play, I tell them I will not play it the last piece on rehearsals because I don't want them going to bed with it in their heads, but it doesn't seem to work. They've come back the next week and said it doesn't matter where we play it. So that's just an inkling of what the next piece is. So we've already performed 2 selections with bells in the title. We have one more for you this evening. Anybody got a guess? Well, this is based on a Ukrainian folk chant composed in 1914. Ukrainian Bell Carol Fantasy. You will, please don't call me tomorrow and say you can't get this song. Okay, here we go. Or played the piano? Nobody. Okay. The music that we look at looks like a piano score, but if you sat down with your 10 little fingers and had to play what we're playing, I sit with 2 people and we play to hear what's on here. So it looks like piano music, but you'd have to grow another couple hands to actually play it yourself. That's the music that we read. Let me see. Does anybody have any questions at this point about something they've seen? Or what the weather is going to be like tomorrow? Yes.
Do you rotate different people playing the different bells, or do they play the same bell throughout the whole year?
Who would like to answer that question?
Well, I was born with these bells in my hand, and I cannot play any other bells.
That's very difficult to learn.
One of the considerations that we have is that many of these people are in other bell choirs, and so they ring like a different assignment in other choirs, and you've got to get used to what you're looking at. So if you're reading on the same staff, it's difficult to adjust your mental capacity. On Monday nights I ring here, and on Tuesday nights I ring one line down. So we try to make a big jump if someone is ringing the bell, ringing above middle C or below middle C or somewhere in there. And generally we don't switch positions here just because everybody, when they want to, they say, Donna, can I just have a different part? And I say, well, okay, we'll see who else feels that way. And it's very agreeable. This is not, don't tell them, but it's not a dictatorship. This is definitely a group thing. We work together. This is a group. This is not. I am the decision maker as far as the music is concerned, but everybody has input onto what we're doing and where we're going and all of that type of thing. And that was a long answer to your question. Anyone else? I should say, some people are wearing gloves and some people are not wearing gloves. If you may have noticed, some of us ring naked and some of us don't. That's a new thing. The handbells was started in the late 50s. Donald Allured, who runs some bell choirs up in Bayview in Michigan, up here by Traverse City, and he thought that bell ringers should wear white gloves and wear black to look professional. Oh, yeah. That was because bells are not considered a standard instrument, so to make that look more legitimate, per se, in the musical world, let's look professional. Wear white gloves and black clothes. That has changed. A lot of times you're wearing gloves, right, Brian?
Yes.
And you wear gloves because?
Because it tends to hurt my hand. Foreign hand can be hard on between the fingers, so it gives me a little bit of cushion.
Yes. I used to ring in the great big bells, and I wore really tight gloves because I would be dropping a bell, and there went my glove, or I got stuck in something. So depending on who's ringing what and how they feel about their gloves, they may or may not wear them. Also, the bells do tarnish from sweat, and when we're ringing, they were chilly when we came in, right? And now they're no longer chilly. No. So this is a physical exercise. So that's another reason why we do polish our bells. Because we polish our bells, I allow them. No, I don't allow them. They just do it. to not wear gloves. Okay, that's enough for questions. Shall we get back to the music? Okay. There's 2 songs that people generally expect to hear during the Christmas season. One is White Christmas and the other is Silent Night. We have an unusual arrangement of Silent Night that we would like to share with you. I think you really like it. Before we conclude our performance this evening, I'm just going to see if there's any other questions. This is the last call. Last call! Okay. I'm going to remind you that this is a fundraiser for us, and if you would like to make a donation, there's a basket by the door, and I believe our assistant here at the community center is going to be putting out some snacks for us as we conclude our concert. We are concluding with the other piece that everybody expects to hear, White Christmas. And just so that you know, I mentioned Cynthia Dobrinsky before. She did the Ukrainian Bell Carol Fantasy, and she did the arrangement for White Christmas as well. So and I didn't realize that until I started writing this up. 1942, Irving Berlin song, reminiscing about an old-fashioned Christmas setting. The version was sung by Bing Crosby, is the world's best-selling single with an estimated sales in excess of 100 million copies worldwide. Accounts vary as to when and where Irving Berlin wrote the song. He often stayed up all night long writing. He told his secretary, "Grab your pen, take down this song. I just wrote the best song I've ever written. Heck, I just wrote the best song that anybody's ever written."
Thank you.